Sun is shining, let's get out. See you smiling, makes me smile.
Hello, I'm Taree808 and welcome to Mendoza's Corner. We will spend 5 minutes each week discussing topics related to the queer community. We'll define the topic, give you some cool facts about it, then provide some of our thoughts. This week's topic, colonization and the impact on queer Blacks. The Webster's definition of queer is differing in some way from what is usual or normal. Odd, strange, weird. It is also relating to or characterized by sexual or romantic attraction that is not limited to people of particular gender identity or sexual orientation. Queer African Americans were essential in the fight for freedom within the African American community, but the prominent role of Black ministers and preachers in the civil rights movement complicated the work of queer Black activists of the time. It also didn't help that psychologists diagnosed homosexuality as a disease during this time, creating more dissension within the Black community. Due to segregation, economic inequality, and the need for racial solidarity throughout the 20th century, queer African Americans often maintained closer ties to their families and communities than their white counterparts. While Harlem thrived, queers in the Jim Crow South were treated as sexual deviants and used to prove Black inferiority. This increased anti-homosexual attitudes within the Black community that as African Americans embraced the white middle class ideas about gender and sexuality. African American communities began to openly discuss queer identities in the 1970s. James Baldwin, Audre Lorde are two prominent African American writers who discuss the intersection of race and sexual identity. Their work is still being revered and dissected as the conversation around Black queer experience continues within the Black community and within the larger LGBTQ community. As we navigate through this time of humanizing people of color, particularly Black people through the Black Lives Matter movement, we can see a support and acknowledgement of the Black queer community unlike past movements. As we continue to fight against the anti-Black institutional systems in the U.S. and abroad, the Black queer community will continue to shape the dialogue around the intersectionality of race and sexuality. We are always taking suggestions on topics for future episodes. Feel free to share with us queer topics that you would like for us to cover in 5 minutes or less. You can either comment or send us an email to info@iTiMiNak.com. Until next week.
Woohoo!